And that would have been the troll game to put on there, right?
Just Game of the Year Golem.
Yeah. Oh, in the Better with Friends category, put Redfall. If you hate your friends, here's a game we can play. We had the Steam Awards.
We did.
Yes. Now, unlike the Game Awards, that is mostly just kind of an industry sort of a thing.
Yeah, those are voted on by a panel of high-ranking executives and such in the gaming industry.
Right. You can put your votes in, and they do weight it a bit, but it is mostly the work of the industry that goes into that, much like the Academy Awards or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
games journalists get to go in on that, and you know what? We don't care about journalists.
Even though I was one. But
well, games journalists specifically.
Game journalists, yeah. We need better ones of those. That would be great. If they don't fire them. Anyway, the point is, the Steam Awards, though, is completely chosen by the people, by the players. However, this year had some interesting things that happened to it that we didn't really expect, and probably...
I mean...
Yeah,
we probably didn't expect.
Yeah. But anyway, it has led to some questions about, were people trolling about this to some degree? And so I wanted to mention a couple categories, talk about them, and why it's weird.
Yeah, it's funny because we're not the only people talking about it.
No.
If you go into the Steam discussions on certain games right now, it is wildfire. Yeah. Of hate, not hate, but
spite. There's a lot of.
I feel like at this point we should question Steam making some more specific rules on their Steam Awards.
Would probably be helpful. We'll probably get that before next year's, just because of what happened.
I doubt it, but who knows?
In case anyone's wondering what we're talking about, there has been some talk about how the nominations were weird and probably were a bit of a troll. Some of the reasons why is... well, first of all, just real briefly, a couple of the Game of the Year competitors were Football Club 24 and Lethal Company. And, I get Lethal Company just came out and people are having fun with it, but recency bias,
Yeah, I mean, you can't really weight that as part of it, so...
Right. There's some odd ones. One of the ones that I noticed was in outstanding story-rich game. A lot of people were talking about, you got the Baldur's Gate 3 on there, you got the Lies of P, you got Resident Evil 4, but then you have Love Is All Around, which is like a dating sim that got in there too for reasons?
Maybe it's got great story.
Story in parentheses, yeah.
Just put the story as a censor bar and put it on Twitch and call it a day.
Yeah, that sounds good. But the ones I really wanted to focus on were Most Innovative Game and Labor of Love. So, Labor of Love.
Yes.
Some of these make sense, like Deep Rock Galactic. Oh, okay, I get that. Rust, all right. I guess they've updated it for a while.
The description of Labor of Love is the game might have come out a couple of years ago, but the developers are still chugging away at it.
It's similar to I guess the Game Awards version of best ongoing game. It's stuff that the developers have continued to work on that they've cared about.
I feel like there should be a category for best live service game.
Okay.
Instead of best ongoing game, but
yeah,
those are two different categories, and there should be something for best live service because there's a lot of live service that I feel don't get much
attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
but Labor of Love, I feel like the whole concept was to showcase more the developers of the games than the games themselves, and the support that they've given towards it and their interest in continuing to work on the game and make it better over the course of time. So, some of those make sense. However, the one that actually won was Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that I believe came out in 2018 and last got an update in 2020.
Yeah, they're doing a great job updating it, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't a good game, or that maybe the online component isn't still enjoyed by people, but it's not a maintained game. Rockstar really isn't doing anything with it anymore.
They abandoned it real fast in favor of GTA Online.
Yeah, which makes them money, so that's the reason. But yeah, so it's just weird that Labor of Love is going to go to a game that really hasn't had an update of note for 3 years now, when there are other ones, even in the category, that seem to have been worked on continuously to this day. Like, I haven't played Rust, and I don't really have an interest in playing Rust, but as far as I can tell, Rust has been continually worked on since it came out, so I get that a bit, but I don't understand Red Dead Redemption 2, let alone why it won. And again, that feels like a neg, to some degree.
It kind of does feel like a troll where it has not been updated and the people are just like, let's give it to them. Kind of, haha, look at these devs not updating this game that we want to play.
Yeah, or making fun of the idea of the Steam Awards in general because there are no criteria, like just anyone can vote on it. If I were to pick, like, possible contenders for Labor of Love, I'll actually reiterate from the first thing, No Man's Sky. You had brought that up. But ones from this year, I would have said, like, Lies of P, because, again, that's a small dev team that definitely put in the time and the work on it. And really, Baldur's Gate 3. Which, again, has been worked on continuously for several years before it was really released in alpha and came with a great pedigree that they obviously cared about. That's the kind of games that I would normally think of as labors of love as it goes. I don't know if you have thoughts on, like, what you would consider criteria for labor of love or games that would fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky, obviously.
Right. It would be that.
But I feel like we need to talk about the troll in the room.
You want to talk about most innovative game.
Most innovative game.
Yeah.
Steam Awards Most Innovative Game of 2023.
Yeah.
Which...
So...
I nominated and voted for something in that category, which was in the finalists.
Was it Shadows of Doubt?
It was Shadows of Doubt, which is probably a game you would love because it's an immersive sim.
Perfect. Love those. Yeah.
That game is very immersive. It is very innovative. The things you can get away with and do are amazing. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about it at length because we're talking about how the fuck most innovative game of 2023 went to Starfield.
Yeah, like I could say that the Remnant 2 doesn't necessarily even make a lot of sense in this category, but yeah, Starfield's the one that won. And I'll say a lot of things about Starfield, because I played a lot of Starfield. I could say a lot of good things and bad things about Starfield, but there's one adjective I would not use to describe Starfield, and that's innovative.
Yeah, and I was looking at Starfield on the store on Steam.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, I went, how does a game with 64% positive reviews overall, as sitting at mixed on Steam, and then sitting at mostly negative recent reviews, I'm sure it's going to be even more outstandingly negative after this for recent reviews. How's a game with mixed and mostly negative reviews get most innovative game?
Yeah. Like, I can understand if people would have said, well, this is innovative, even if I didn't like it. But, like, I would certainly hope that the game was actually innovative. And the thing about it is that Starfield, you know, I've played for over 100 hours, and I can tell you that, like, there's things to like about Starfield, there's things that are definitely a problem with Starfield, but the problem is that it is nothing new from what they've done over the course of the last 20 years in terms of their game design. It's the same kind of thing that they've done. If it's anything but innovative, that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't good or that you might not enjoy it, but it's not innovative. There's nothing
Maybe
new
the
here.
innovation is the procedurally generated wastelands of empty planets.
Like, we haven't seen that before. I mean, even even in that regard, it feels like it's been done in other places far better and you know, made far better. When I think about, like, innovative gameplay, I think of things like, well, like Vampire Survivors, which is like a totally new idea that they put forward. Or this year, if it was like Hi-Fi Rush, because you just don't see stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Those aren't even on this list.
I definitely think in even doing a bit of cursory, like, not really research, because that's not my forte, but looking into, like, the discussions on Starfield's Steam page is just, most people are agreeing that it was a troll.
It's got to be. Yeah, there was just people that really wanted to mess with the ratings and thought it would be really funny to make.
Which Steam, please just show us, like, your votes, like how many votes games got for these finalists, please, because then we can tell you if it's a fucking troll or not.
Right. I feel like there should be a way that they can, like, look at adjectives or words that people are using to describe certain games and then, like, aggregate to, like, what are the games where words like innovative or creative or new or like new concept or stuff like that, how often does that come up in discussion, in the reviews, in all of that? And maybe those are the games that should be put up for most innovative gameplay because that's how they're being described beforehand.
I think Steam should have a checkbox for when you're nominating games, and it should be, is this a troll? Check.
You know what they do? They just say best troll game.
They should at this point, because as much as I love the democratic process of picking awards, like picking games that the players think deserve awards, the problem with democracy on the internet is that the internet exists.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is how you get things like Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah, I love Bodie McBoatface, though. Or Shooty McShootyface. That's always good.
Yeah. So, like, in these times, if Steam had given us their number of votes, like the breakdown of which won first, second, and third, we could sit there and go, yeah, that's an obvious troll in first place. Let's look at the second place option.
A lot of them seem like they make sense, but then you'll, like, come across one where you go, wait, what? Like, I liked Atomic Heart just fine, but I don't know if I'd really say it has outstanding visual style compared to other games that again, Hi-Fi Rush exists and such. Yep. I don't know how to fix it. It's kind of just an open voting process, and people can vote for a troll pick if they want to have fun with it. But it does kind of degrade the idea of having the awards in the first place.
Yes. Even I think Mudahar of Somewhere Near Gamers does saying the exact same thing. It's like, doesn't give me faith in like the voting process or the Steam Awards at all, because like trash like this gets voted most innovative game of 2023.
Right. Well, you know, some people just like to watch the world burn, Alex.
Yeah, that's very true.
We should just
fire
give out
keeps
the
us warm.
We should give out the Joker Award. And it's like all the games that we didn't think were very good. Who wants to vote for these? We can hand awards next year to like Gollum and Redfall.
That wasn't. I don't think that made a finalist at all anywhere.
No, and that would have been the troll game to put on there, right?
Just Game of the Year, Gollum.
Yeah. Oh, in the Better with Friends category, put Redfall. If you hate your friends, here's a game we can play.
Did you watch Yahtzee's best, blandest, and worst?
Yes.
Where he gave I think he gave the worst game or the blandest game to Starfield.
Second, I think it was the first or second blandest game. Yeah, was Starfield.
So it's like I'm sure he's gonna have something to say about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If he hasn't already, so
yeah, it's probably going.
Second can win team. Let us know what you thought about the Steam Awards in your next podcast. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, they're totally watching this. At any rate, yeah. So if you are out there and you have some ideas of games that you think are actually something that has
better than Starfield,
if you have picks for games that you think actually have innovative gameplay or that you think are actually a labor of love, and we didn't talk about them on this episode, please let us know.
They weren't nominated,
or they weren't nominated at all,
because Shadows of Doubt was nominated. I was really happy about that because I nominated it, and it also got enough to make a finalist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it's a very small team, but like I'm sure they're just happy to have been nominated in the finalists. So
yeah, I mean sometimes
accolades to everyone who actually made the finalists, even if you didn't get the award.
Mm-hmm.
We still notice you, Senpai.
Yeah, we still notice you, so good job to all of you. But just let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe when you're there.